Prof. Faishal for delivering such an insightful and thought-provoking topic. It's really heartening to learn about the upstream efforts in place and to note the improvement in the 2-year recidivism rate for offenders in the community. Now let us move on to the question and answer session. I invite Associate Professor Faishal and Dr. Noor Shahril to take their seat at the front. I also welcome the attendees to raise your questions. You may use the Slido Q&A platform using the code 364900. Code 364900. If you wish to ask questions directly to Prof. Faishal, there will be a roving microphone as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe we can begin the questions and answer sessions. Let me first thank Prof for that very enlightening talk and very important sharing session. I think it's in line with the Cendekiawan series. I think where we talk about community issues, we never shy away of talking about challenges and problems in the community and what are the efforts being done to alleviate some of these problems. And I think this drug issue has always been a challenge, right? Not only at the national level, in particular the Malay community. And I think it's very heartening that Prof has shared, not only in terms of the statistics that is improving over the years, but what really heartens me was the whole community efforts, that the community is very committed to tackling this problem together and work together with the important stakeholders. This is very heartening to see this happening. And I must say that all these things could not happen independently without someone thinking and directing, as well as providing that leadership. And I think this is what Prof did not mention. Of course, the leadership is very important in guiding this and putting this whole together. So this is not only a state effort, but also it brings people in the community a sense of issues, a sense of commitment that we need to tackle this together. So I think that's a very excellent sharing of some of these developments over the years. So let me open the floor now for questions and answers. You can choose to send your questions via Slido, and you can speak directly. In the spirit of bilingualism, you can ask the questions in English, of course, but of course feel free to ask in Malay. I think most importantly is the engagement. Yeah, it's not so much whether you speak good Malay or but I think that the spirit is engagement. Of course, most of us here are bilingual, so I think we are happy to take questions in whatever you're comfortable with. Yes, and I agree with Prof that actually it's not only about asking questions. You can also share your thoughts and share your experiences, and feel free. This is a free flow engagement session. In fact, Prof, one of your slides, and we talk about all these efforts by the community, me and Dr. Azhar, we had a quick chat, and we said that, if there are any aspects of culture and heritage that you think we need and we can contribute, we are there to support. We are there to support. I think the foundation is committed to do that. All right, so please, let me just open the floor for questions. We have one gentleman, gentleman in blue. Yes. Please introduce yourself.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Ashari.
Waalaikumsalam.
Just two quick questions, because one question is, this drug has been for decades, right? I think more concerning is I got my young adult kids now in ITA. Over the cup of coffee during dinner, he was telling me why his IT is primarily loves vaping, right? And nothing has been stopped because the teachers knows, the lecturers knows, or they will vape this place. My concern, because vaping is one thing with a health issue, but going to Jakarta, Malaysia, I think Prof knows the fact that it's been mixed with liquid cannabis, and I'm very concerned if this guy, getting my kid even to Thailand for a pack, right? The cannabis is, it's okay there. What do you think that, because people do vape, then they get hooked on it, then they graduate, you know. I don't have the correlation whatsoever, you know. It's quite concerning if the ITV people say it's okay, it's cool, you know. I get away with it, you know. Maybe a slap on the wrist. That's my question to you. And secondly, we talk about all these people on the addict or that, but what another concerning fact is the numbers of people, the Malays, is also overrepresented in the gallows. They're hanging, you know, 17, 20. And I find it, I might be wrong though, you know, I engage with other organizations. There seems to be no much discussion among the Malays community about what we're going to do with these people waiting for the gallows, you know. Unfortunately, a friend of mine, son, was one of them. We met when I was overseas, I met him, a good guy. It's quite mind-boggling why he get into cannabis, because in UK, where I used to live, it's okay, it's normal, you don't get the gallows. But what a support group for them. Just because they do some stupid thing and they end life. And this guy got married and 2 children with special needs. You see, but the community seems to be like, nobody seems to be talking about it. Maybe it's a very big thing to be, you know, hanging, you know. My question is, what support group can we do and how can we decrease it, you know, right? Not only about the addiction, but the overrepresented people in the trafficking side of things. Thank you.
Thank you. Prof, would you like to respond?
Good question. Thank you very much. First, for vaping, yes, I share your concern. Something that that we are watching carefully. This HSA, in particular, MOH and HSA are looking into it. They are working with the schools. So today, schools has enhanced the enforcement mechanism where they are seeing some connection to the effectiveness, whereby we want the parents also to play a part in this. In the past, when they catch or caught the students with vape, parents didn't have to pay any amount. Today, I think have to pay $300 if I'm not mistaken. So that they saw a sudden reduction in this enforcement. MOH, HSA also are disrupting some of the syndicates who are bringing the vapes, and also the accessibility of vapes in locally. Unfortunately, the situation not the same as in our countries in the region. So again, is prevalence that is increasing at a faster rate in the region, but we all know that it's harmful. And we are also watching closely vapes with cannabis within it in Singapore. Although it's happening elsewhere, we want to make sure that it doesn't come to our shore. And of course, it's a lot of intelligence work. I can't be revealing so much to you, but we are watching this closely. And we are working with the MOE schools to see. In my area, I have a local community that look after. I have a group of Malay, makcik and pakcik will do the rounding. And they will see the kids. And they have actually brought a few kids to the school for indulging in some of these vaping-related activities. So I think we have to protect ourselves. We work together and protect. And then a lot start from home. I wouldn't say which institution has more, because I think this is something that not only in Singapore is very prevalent across the world, right? But we know it's not good. HSA and MOH seriously thinking about this, and they have come up with some framework to see how they can tackle this issue together. Right? But I heard the new approach, enforcement approach in school has been quite effective. Right? So now the parents are more interested right? And in the past, without that, I think banyak lepas tangan, right? So today with this, parents are more interested and they are looking after the kids more at home. Yeah. And then the second thing about the death penalty. Okay, death penalty, if you realize, I shared with you about the overdose death in America, right? More than 100,000, right? And that's the exact point. If we don't do things like this, I tell you, many more will come to our shores. As it is, whenever I spoke to inmates, the majority will say the death penalty stopped them from bringing large amount of drugs into Singapore. The death penalty also makes them feel scared. The death penalty also helps to protect others. Right? So we feel that it is something that we need to do to protect the bigger society. There will be people who take chances because this one involves a lot of money. You make a lot of money. Recently, I spoke to a trafficker. He was sharing with me the amount he made by paying this X amount compared to what he can sell after that multiple times. So he took chances. He took chances, right? Sometimes he get caught, but sometimes he doesn't get caught. Yeah. But we are very clear we do this to protect the people. Right? The masses. Because I met a lady. I just want to share with you. I met a resident. When I was an MP for Marine Parade JRC, I met this makcik about 15 years ago. She was staying in one of the rental flats in Chai Chee. So she told me, anak saya baru masuk. Now, that time 15 years ago. So about 2 years ago, I met her in Chong Pang. Also a rental flat. And then she told me, ini dorang ni semua condemn death penalty. Kalau dorang experience macam saya experience, ini drug bunuh saya slowly. And it's very painful death for me as a mother to see my son like that. So maybe these people, dia bilang, tak experience, they want to talk on the theoretical level, but kita perlu selamatkan masyarakat kita. So this is something, we also don't like to kill anybody. We don't like to hang people. But we find it's an effective way to help to address the bigger issue of, if not, there'll be more people will be affected. And this includes your family and my family. So we need to play our part. We really have to engage our family members, especially our children, so that they don't even take the risk. Jangan berani-beranikan diri kerana it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. We have quite a number of questions on Slido, but I just want to quickly pick up on a point made by the gentleman earlier about this idea of being cool, Prof. Considering drugs as being cool. How do you think, how important are these efforts right now in tackling this whole idea? And what are some of these efforts being done?
Yeah. So the social media present drugs, especially cannabis, as being something cool, something soft, not so harmful, right? To me, is simply the propaganda of the syndicates to really spread their outreach. When it's cool, people take it. Who gains? The syndicates. And these syndicates are nowhere near us, not even in Malaysia. You know, so basically, there are many levels. So we must ensure to share the message with our people that drugs are harmful, not only for them, for their families and the society. Because the issue of drugs is not something new. We have seen how people got affected by drugs. They may present in a very nice form, they may present in a way people look cool, but some people will tell you how he has dragged their life down. And today, the profile that we see is no longer where people are poor, people are depressed. A lot of people take because of curiosity. And that curiosity is something that they see. That's why they get them to be curious, right? Being presented as being cool, not too bad, won't be a problem, right? All these are lies, right? So we need to counter this narrative so that we can help to save many more people, right? Especially cannabis. Cannabis is like, if it gets proliferated, it'll be like another tobacco. And who again is these companies? Right? So the whole idea, they do it for their own gains, our loss. Many of us don't realize. Many of the inmates also don't realize. When I speak to them, they say it's about addiction. But sometimes I ask, you're here. Those people who are supplying to you, they are all having a great time in their own bungalows, big houses, right, enjoying themselves. Then they start to right? So basically, we need to get many more people to think that these people are the one who are doing harm, and these are the people who are related to many of the drug-related activities are also criminal. Right? You just need to see some of these countries where even innocent lives are lost just because of the drug syndicates. Right? So while it's presented cool, that's one perspective, may not be real, right? So we need to inculcate this value of finding out more, checking, and also sharing. It brings the people down in their lives.
Let me now quickly take a question from the Slido, and this is anonymously written. Are there plans for drug rehab that are not couched in the religious realm, right? Terms like haram or fitra, especially for families who are distant from religion?
So our programs are circular in nature, right? So the Singapore Prison Service, they carry out circular program, right? So very much psychology based and some evidence based, right? So there are programs that cater to this group of people. However, we notice from our experience, religion play a very important role. I want to share with you, I learned a lot from the Christian community. The Christian community, one inmate, they have 5 befrienders. One inmate, that means 5 befrienders to one inmate. And they do very well. So essentially, they not only share about some scientific approaches, secular approaches, but they also bring the people with a common message from God, right? So essentially, we want to provide the option to the inmate. So but it's up to them to choose, right? So we don't force, and they request, we provide it, right? So I think we have few counselors here who may share. Maybe Ustazah want to share something about her experience. Ustazah Malu. Ustazah, the inmates love her. Yeah, and I think she has shared quite a number of engagements with the inmates. They feel very inspired by her. Ustazah Malu. You want
to share something? Yeah, please. There's a mic. Please introduce yourself, if you may.
Okay, my name is Noraini. Thank you, Dr. Faishal. It was very insightful sharing. And I was really trying to find ways, because, besides I'm an educator myself, and I was with some of the students previously, not in my present school, who are engaged with all these drugs. Now, drugs has becoming more and more cool. They associate it with while I take, that means I look better, I look much so-called smarter. Okay, and at the same time, I'm also engaging some of the families because I'm one of the befrienders. The fact that you mentioned just now, learned something about the community of the Christians, I have to applaud them to a certain ways. We still have a long way to go because when I see and I engage to some of the families, it could be me and my husband only befriending them, and I can see there's there's always this struggle for us to ensure that they don't come back, because the 2 years and now we are trying to go for the 5 years. So my question is that, yes, I saw that there's a lot of coming in from the community, the FITRA is coming in and being circularized as well. I think there's a lot more effort needed, because for them to come back again are much larger, especially in our community. So besides the befriending, perhaps maybe you can share what other areas that you have already planned for the 5 years, so to see that, we can get a lot more people to come in as a community. Thank you.
Thank you. So, you see, one aspect is that development of pro-social groups and community that come and support. But one big aspect is the disaster themselves. Actually, if we are able to instill that hardiness, inspiration in them to really, really journey through this together, that will be a big achievement. So we have developed this network called Disasters Network, where they will help themselves, among themselves, right? So FITRA is part of the Disasters Network, right? Where among themselves, they realize that when they help others, they help themselves. Yeah, you talk to the disaster, they will tell you this. So I want to help more people or more of my fellow ex-inmate, because when I do that, I help myself. So we are expanding this. We have formalized the network. So this is something that we do to help to reduce the fire. Second is family. Someone with strong family support will be able to share with you. That's why I'm doing so. Right, and also with this, we are working with the FSC and some of the MMOs to see how they can provide the additional support to their families and inmates in the in-care. So usually what we do is 3-4 months before they are released, we'll get the befriender to come, so that bila keluar tu boleh continue. In the past, some of them after keluar one day dah ambil balik. Pasal diorang tak tahu macam mana. At least with a befriender yang dah masuk while they are in care. So bila keluar tu, the journey is better. Right? So we need a lot more befrienders lah. Right? And if you know anyone interested in this, just get them on board, because it's not easy. To be honest, their journey is not easy. Some of them told me, drug 24 hours in their mind. 24 hours in their mind. Just imagine, bangun, you think of drugs. But family, employment, and then some of the things that they feel connected and they remind each other, I think will help. One, I have a father and son punya tag team. Last time they used to take together. But today, every morning they wake up, they remind each other, we are still recovering. Every day they remind each other. And they need to do every day. And at the end of the day, before they go and sleep, diorang bersyukur lah. Today, I able to tahan. I'm able to go through. So the support is very important. And then with you around, right, they will feel that, hey, another person to clinch on. So the more people, the more pro-social group we have, the better it is. So we are going to develop those things, and we not only do that from the research side, also we're going to do a lot more. We're going to want to also get the international community to have an approach that they see our approach is something that they can do together. We also want to build up our partners so that they feel supported, that the world also supporting in this area lah. Yeah. So we are going to work very hard for the 5 year, because it's worthwhile. Because the longer they stay outside, the better it is. They can spend time with their families and they can have better lives.
Prof, there's a question from Slido. I think you have answered part of this question, but maybe I just want to raise it if you have anything further to add. So beyond the Malay community, have there been culturally nuanced programs from the other communities? You mentioned the Christian community earlier. So, or is this really unique to the two religious communities, or are there other efforts from the other communities as well?
I must share with you, the Malay Muslim community has inspired other communities. Yeah, so the Indian community are also trying to pick up on what some of the things that we are doing, right? And within the rehab and reintegration fraternity, they are very impressed by this whole thing of MMO network, Dadai to Haram, all these efforts that we have done. So I'm happy to share that we are leading in some of these efforts, and I think it's for a good reason, because we need to work together, and the support from government is very, very strong. I update my minister once every 3 months of what we do here. It's something that at the leadership of MHA, we watch this carefully, closely, and we want to support the community as much as we can, because it's something worthwhile, right? And what we have done, we have attracted attentions from other communities, and also I understand some of the work people are also watching. Yeah, so I know that SINDA is working with other organizations to look at the Indian community as well.
So we have another question, also anonymous, Prof. This one has a bit of a sociology question. I think I lost the question. How relevant is this CMIO model lens that we look at this drug issue? Of course, when you look at the CMIO, the Malays are overrepresented vis-a-vis the other communities. But if you flip it and look at it in terms of socio-economic factors, do you think it will give a different picture of the whole issue?
Yeah, I feel that the CMIO perspective is very relevant, because what is key is that we find that there are some culturally related kind of issues at hand, and also religiously related, right? So it's easy to connect, right? And let's say when I go for the Dadai to Haram effort, so easy to connect, I tell you. Without me saying, they say, bagus, you know? So that connection part is important, right? However, if you look at the profile, the SES, today, it will get more difficult. Today, the drug issue can affect all of us and our families. No longer a time where, okay, let's do by low SES, high SES. It becomes white, so-called, it gets thinner. The spread gets thinner across the different profile. And that is why the culturally nuanced aspect becomes, is still relevant and becomes more important for us. That in itself, from the curiosity point of view, that is something that we do at the circular level, right, which is very important. I also used to think that, before I joined MHA, people share about, people take because they got no money, they find that this is the only way they can earn, or because they are stressed, they are depressed, But when I spoke to the inmates, when I visited them, to be honest, I got more worried, because the profile is more widespread today. That means to say, it's all our business. It's our business. That means we need to be bothered about it. Because I've seen it affecting the very rich and the poor as well. Right? So we need to continue this journey, right? So that we can help many more people.
If I may add a little bit on that, I think sometimes when we look at in the sociological lens, we tend to think that this is a cultural approach, this is a socio-economic approach. Sometimes we see them as two separate spheres. But I think from what you shared earlier, I think there are also efforts, even though you're touching the Malay community, there are also efforts to upskill them. There are efforts to help them, and if they come out on this whole system, they're taken care of, and their families are taken. So I think by looking, even though they're looking at it in the more cultural lens, I think we are not relegating the socio-economic aspects. I think that's the whole.
And when it comes to jobs, whether you Malay, Chinese, Indian, it applies to everybody, right? So we have more than 6,000 companies willing to help. It's a lot. I think I also received feedback in the past, diorang tak ada kerja, But when I went, I saw, at one stage, we got 10 jobs to one inmate. So, and some jobs, I'm from MND, right? So some of the jobs relating to the built environment, we wanted to offer them, they are not interested. Yeah, so they have a chance to choose today. To me, it's a good situation, and we are not going to stop there. We're going to uplift them further. We're going to explore many other job opportunities. We hope we can raise the level of income, starting pay for them, and I find that the society is more accepting today, right? So I think these are all some good signs due to all our hard work, including the government agencies, and we must continue this journey.
Let me now use this opportunity to take a question from the audience. I think we have one from Mr. Zainul.
Yes. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. If I may stand up, because I like to see a better view of Dr. Faishal.
You want to come on stage?
Thank you very much. First of all, my apologies, I was a bit late because I had to go to a wedding. Itulah orang kita ni banyak jemputan kahwin. But that wasn't yellow ribbon. It was green ribbon. So in fact, I got two questions related to green ribbons. I want to ask Dr. Faishal. Before that, I would like to use the opportunity to congratulate Dr. Faishal Ibrahim for all his good work. I've known Dr. Faishal when he was still a kid, and he is so devoted to community work, and I'm very happy to see him doing well in government and also works related to rehabilitation and community work, alhamdulillah. So back to the question about green ribbon, two questions. One is the role of the media. I consider that as a green ribbon when handling issues related to the community. And the other, the green ribbon I'm talking about, is actually a role of religion. Although there was an earlier question whether there are programs which are not related to Islam or religion, but more secular. But I feel that religion, MUIS for that matter, Asatizas for that matter, have an important role to play. And I'd like to ask a question, how do you see the role played by the religious consideration, whether from MUIS and Asatiza, and also the role of using religion itself? Is it working? Or for those who are really in that kind of situation, whether they feel in fact it is an added burden to them if you talk about religion? And before that, the other green ribbon is the role of media. Is the media playing its role well in reaching out to this kind of people? Because this kind of people sometimes don't read. Even social media, I don't know, they go for different things. So how do you see the role of media in trying to help you and others in overcoming this situation? Thank you.
Thank you. First, I must say we are very fortunate to have both BH and BM for supporting our efforts well. not for me only, even my predecessors, they have benefited from it. And like I often hear the community sharing that they feel at ease, that feel happy that we are doing a lot to help the ex-offenders and also their families. And also, I think in recent weeks, if you have read the paper or even watched on some social media and on TV, some of the profile of our ex-inmates, how they have been doing. Well followed, but I think we should get more sharing in the community of what they do. To them, it means a lot. I tell you, it means a lot to them, and they are very grateful. On the other hand, the bigger as media, as in including social media, I think this sometimes poses challenge to us. They tend to provide platforms also for the liberal aspects of drugs, for example. So people ambil ringan lah, right? And some would tell me, they get messages. I know of one young girl who just got into drug just by curiosity and watched the YouTube what addiction is like. Then from there she went to buy from the Telegram. So it's very easy to get addicted today, just by social media, right? So we need to have a lot more alternative which are pro-social, so that they know. And one very clear thing is this: I'm very clear drugs are harmful, because I see how our inmates get dragged down, very deep down. So if we can share more of this to our people, our families, I think it will provide that deterrence. They not necessarily they are aware they will not take. They need to be resilient. Resilient means you must know, you must be able to withstand the tarikan of this thing, even though you are curious, because you know this is bad for you, and you are definite about it. Even somebody say no harm. Right? The very simple narrative that people like to use is no harm. They will tell their friends, bro, this one no harm. You can control one, especially cannabis. They say this one very soft one, okay one. If you don't take it, maybe you are busy, right? Because you're busy, you got your study or this. But I have seen people who take it, who took when they were in their early 20s. But in their 50s, they got a situation. Then suddenly they long for that feeling of taking cannabis. They went back. So the first time they were not arrested. But when they're 50s, because all these are connected on the phone, let's say I arrest someone, and then your phone number, your message happen to be inside. You get called up. Then they got shocked. They got arrested. Yeah. So it's something that will alter your brain composition, chemical composition of your brain. So I think we are very fortunate. BM and BH have been very supportive. Nevertheless, I think we need to watch the rest of the other media, like social media. And this is where the parents can play a part. And your second point about Islam, I think from research, we have seen religion plays a very important role. Yeah, that is why if you look at many of the MHA-related work internationally, across the world, religious groups have been very profound in the way they engage. I can tell you some really changed from one end to the other end. Some of them met me, they showed me what they were in their 20s and who they are today. Without knowing, you will never be able to really see what they were. And they said, God. Main factor is God. Yeah. So to us, it helps you to not to re-offend. I think we feel that's one of the approaches lah. Right? And we are seeing a lot more from the good work of FITRA and the MMOs. Right? So you see more of these inmates are connected in this area. we have a few of our colleagues who are here. They may want to share, right? They may want to share the journey and how they have seen. Maybe we can
Feel free to share.
feel free to share.
Feel free
Maybe
to share. And
okay, before they, maybe one of them can start first. Yeah.
can speak either in English or in Malay. No problems.
Yeah.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Nama saya Muhammad Anwar. Saya dah banyak kali masuk dalam penjara lah. Keluar masuk dah banyak 9 kali. Dan Alhamdulillah lah, semasa saya dalam program di Petapis, saya menjalani program-program di sana. Dan di sana saya dapat belajar dan menjadi seorang art trainer, melukis dan mengajar pengundi-pengundi di sana untuk membuat lukisan selama 3 bulan kalau diorang minat dalam pelajaran untuk melukis. Dan semasa dalam program tu saya banyak lakukan kemasyarakatan untuk masyarakat, seperti melakukan seni kita, exhibition dan joining community untuk mural for painting. Dan dengan hasil yang saya dapat, rezeki-rezeki yang saya dapat itu, saya membuka sebuah kedai yang kecil lah di Jucak Komplek. Sekarang masih lagi ada di Jucak Komplek. Saya menjual ayat-ayat suci dan juga pewangi-pewangi seperti kayu gaharu, dan juga akan mengajar anak-anak yang memerlukan membuat ingin belajar membuat lukisan lah di sana. Daripada situ saya berterima kasih kepada Petapis, terutama Mr. Abang Zaki kita yang telah banyak membantu saya di dalam Petapis untuk membuka kelas art di sana. Okey, terima kasih banyak.
Assalamualaikum semua. Nama penuh saya ni Abdul Samad bin Muhammad. Saya sebenarnya dah banyak kali jugalah masuk prison ni. Ada dalam 8 kali. And one of them tu pun trafficking jugalah. So previously yang my sentence is saya kena consume apa ni semualah. Jadi lepas tu I was sent to Petapis. So I was thinking that macam Petapis ni macam tempat rebak juga nak kena tempur kat sini Tapi alhamdulillah lah, kat sana banyak benda saya belajar. Saya daripada nak kirakan kosong, tak tahu pelajaran, tak tahu apa semualah. So dekat sana, one of the case worker, Abang Zaki, approach saya. Jadi saya macam terdengar lah dia punya offer tu under President Challenge, they have to change. Jadi kalau saya macam dapat ni courses kan, it's like macam kalau saya pass, saya dapat ni class 3 license. Jadi why not? Saya go for it. Saya try. Tapi tempoh dia memang rabak lah, a bit tough. So saya carry on. Alhamdulillah. And right now saya masih kat sini ni, saya masih berdiri lagi. Alhamdulillah. Dah 3 tahun kat luar dengan dorongan my family, sama juga dengan Abang Zaki. Sampai sekarang masih contact saya, support saya all the way. He's one of my best buddy, best mentor juga. And dengan pekerjaan saya sekarang ni, alhamdulillah, a bit stable lah. Daripada dulu gaji saya is like below than 1,004, 1,005. Sekarang ni alhamdulillah lah, manageable. Walaupun okey lah, boleh nak dikatakan kais pagi makan pagi, kais petang makan petang agak lah. Tapi alhamdulillah lah. Aku semangat juga saya sekarang. Tapi for all that I can say lah, terima kasih lah kepada semua yang betul-betul support saya, yang bagi saya dorongan. Sampailah ke sini ni saya dapat first time ni saya dapat masuk dalam ni benda ni, tempat ni. Gemuruh juga saya. So thanks to everyone, especially Ahmad Zaki. Thank you.
Ada sesiapa lagi? Anyone else who wants to share? Is Abang Zaki? Yes,
Assalamualaikum. Nama saya Jasri. Previously, I was sentenced for 5 years. Nothing to do about drug. I'm one of, tak nak cakap. But then, thanks to Fitra 1, 2, 3, who guide me along the way, and I'm a free man for like 1 year from now. Yeah, that's it.
Anyone has a question? I thought I saw a hand just now. Oh. No,
Assalamualaikum. Okay, saya kena dalam kerana drug, ganja. Okay, kenapa saya suka mengambil ganja waktu itu? Pasal memberi saya ketenangan. Okay, tapi setelah saya kena tangkap, saya di dalam, saya banyak buat muhasabah diri, saya banyak membaca buku dan saya mencari diri saya yang sebenar. Setelah saya keluar, jadi saya baru tahu ketenangan tu memang indah. Tapi dia ada di sisi gelap dan sisi terang. Maka saya fikirkan yang keindahan tu dari sisi gelap itu hanya sementara. Malah yang di sisi terang itu adalah suatu keindahan, ketenangan yang abadi. Jadi dan saya juga bersyukur kerana saya mempunyai ibu dan ayah yang memberi saya dorongan, semangat dan tak pernah putus-putus memberi saya nasihat. Walaupun umur saya sekarang dah 47, masih juga memberi nasihat sebagai ibu. Dan saya juga membuat saya berubah kerana saya punya dorongan dari keluarga dengan kecenderungan saya dengan muzik. Pasal muzik also memberi macam seni kata kan, yang positif seperti M. Nasir, G.A.D, Iwan Fals. Jadi memberi kita semangat untuk menjalanikan hidup. Cuma kadang memang ada kala saya juga ada mempunyai kawan yang susah untuk berubah. Tapi kita pun tak boleh salahkan mereka. Pasal masing-masing mereka mempunyai proses yang berlainan untuk berubah. Jadi kita tetap akan menolong, menasihat dan tidak akan penat untuk memberi nasihat dan memberikan doa untuk mereka. Mudah-mudahan mereka akan berubah, akan kembali kepada fitrah. Dah, sekian, terima kasih.
Thank you. Encik Zaki, if you have anything to say? Your name has been mentioned a few times very quickly before we close.
Okay, Assalamualaikum semua. Alhamdulillah, dalam social work ni dapat banyak networking dengan ramai orang kat sini. So semangat ni yang buat saya kata orang tu semangatlah untuk membantu dan dari segi nasihat, dari segi mungkin ada aktiviti atau program-program yang kita boleh menolong orang-orang sebegini kan, untuk menaikkan semangat orang, untuk menolong keluarga orang. Seperti salah satu yang Encik sama kita cakap, kita dapat daripada President's Challenge yang kasih kita grant dan dapat sepenuhnya mendapat untuk belajar kelas 3 sampai habis, and sampai alhamdulillah sekarang dia keluar kerja, ada lesen, ada untuk support dia family everything. So terima kasih kepada agensi-agensi dan juga government dan juga MMO semua untuk support dalam program-program ini untuk mereka. Itu je. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Ladies and gentlemen, we are running out of time, but we are happy to take one last question before we close. Please. Thank you.
Appreciate very much. My name is Nora, and I work directly with inmates. Actually, I appreciate very much this platform. I would like to thank the organizer and Dr. Faishal give me the opportunity to speak and to share. There are some information that I received directly from the inmates. One of many information. In fact, many of them started very young. Just now we talked about socio-economic. I think the drug trafficker or drug syndicates is a big business, yes, but they target very young ones and many angles and many other types of people as well. But they target the very young one because what is important is the first try. Once you get hooked, they get a continuous business. And they got strategy. The strategy is really, really. Everywhere, if they can, they will. I have students who are counselors, lawyers. Anybody they will go. Yeah, that's one thing I want to share.
Thank you.
Secondly, I want to share is about why generally most drug addicts, they want to be drug-free. They really want to be drug-free. When someone take drug, right? Okay, when we feel happy, we have this chemical, dopamine, right? We feel natural dopamine, we feel happy. But when someone take drugs, the dopamine level 10 times or even more higher. That's why they get very high. And this dopamine actually suppresses the natural dopamine that we have. And once the drug is not active, it's hard for the person to feel happy. That's where the warning sign is, the withdrawal. They get very upset, they get agitated, they get angry very easily. They are not the person who they were. So that actually affects the relationship. And family don't understand. Sometimes family unconsciously, they can be the trigger. They use the wrong word, can trigger, relapse. That's what I want to share.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to question, sorry. Okay, one more thing is that, in my opinion, addiction is not just biological and psychological. The recovery is spiritual. It's like slumber, inside our body. It's not taken out. What is the void that is missing? Something happened in their life. Normally something happened. Okay, my question. Many of them were taught how to manage a trigger. But in order for someone to be skillful in managing the triggers, they need to practice. But once they are outside, it's not easy to manage triggers. And they fall and keep falling. And they go back to prison. And their moral very low. How to how to help them? Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Please, Prof. If you may respond to the question and maybe close the session as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, trigger is a big thing among the abusers, ex-abusers. And there are many factors that can help one to manage triggers. Some develop their own trigger management capabilities, right? But it took time. I know of someone who was really a hardcore drug abuser and trafficker. He said after a few attempts, then he found his way, right? So he has been using it because it may come just suddenly. I know of one grandfather who actually he was so complacent because he has been free for the last 12 years. Then suddenly he was playing with his grandchild. Then the trigger came. He told me that he couldn't manage it. He just thought that he 12 years okay. That moment he straight away went to look for his the person who sold him. Then he went in back. Right, so it takes time. Nevertheless, there are factors that show that it can be done, like those who have been free for, I met someone who's been free for 50 years, some until death. They shared with me about their friends, and it's about that pro-social group. Very, very important. Right? Like the Abang Zaki, we need more Abang Zaki and yourself. You are very passionate, right? Ustazah, and many more of you here. And the desisters themselves. We find a good opportunity are the desisters because they can help one another. And parents, I agree. I met many people, parents. One of the desisters I know, his mother. He shared with me that he saw his mother coming to see him from young until tak boleh jalan, until on a wheelchair. That moment he saw the mother on a wheelchair, changed his whole perspective about going back. Until today, I think he just celebrated his 9th year of being free. So Alhamdulillah. So we need more of this, and we need to really strengthen the ecosystem. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's about all of us. Because when we do this, we have less and less people affected by drugs, we can have better lives for our people. Because drugs really is a very deep trap, right? So you are right to say that first time, so that nobody would want to take for first time, right? Even though they come across it. That's our goal as a community. Alhamdulillah, we are seeing the number of new drug abusers have gone down, which is good, right? But we still know out there are many more who are not arrested. Because a lot more of them take at home. And they take with their friends. So when the numbers go up and down the next few years, we hope that it goes down, continues to go down, but if it goes up, don't be disheartened. We are on a downward trend in terms of the numbers as a whole. But before I end, I thought that it's good to share with you the proportion of young people, even though people worry about young, the proportion of young people who take drugs actually is very small. Right? Very small. Because only in the recent survey, only about 0.7% of the population take drugs. Right? But to me, whatever number is one too many. Because drugs really, really trap people. So just to end, I just thought that I hope the sharing has been something that you find meaningful. Right? And like what I shared, this work has been started by many of our predecessors. We are benefiting from their hard work, and we should continue this work. And it's something that I'm very encouraged that we are seeing the whole ecosystem being strengthened, and we are able to sit here in a very nice and comfortable way, discuss an issue like this, respecting one another. In the past, when we had an issue on drugs, some of them told me they will go out feeling very low. They will go out feeling, especially those who are sitting here, feel that they were being attacked by the community. But today, the community is together in this effort. If you can see the spirit, what we saw today is a very pro-social and positive spirit. And I think that speaks volume of where the community has gone. community has progressed, not only in the way we deal with issues, but the way we tackle issues together, the way we discuss issues together. And I think we should continue this journey, not only on drug-related matters. There may be issues down the line where we really face the problem, but our spirit must always be up there, wanting to tackle, wanting to work together, and wanting to see how we can navigate this as a community. So this is a very positive part. I feel very, very nice here, looking at the way you brought out issues, your concern, and the approach that you took, very exemplary. Speaks well of the community. So well done to all of you. Secondly, the work is not over. We are still being overrepresented. We want not only the Malay community, the rest of Singaporean community to go down, the numbers to go down. And when we do that, we provide more opportunities for Singaporean. So if you know of anyone who want to play a part in this, let us know. Right? We need more volunteers. Right? At least if we can have more, one inmate for in the short term, 2 befrienders to 1 inmate. I think it'd be nice. We haven't got that yet, right? So we will move in phases, and we want to continue to strengthen this. So I want to thank Dr. Noor Sharil and his team for giving me the opportunity to share this meaningful topic that is close to our hearts today. And we are blessed to have all of you and the community to support and join us in our journey. So on that note, wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Prof, thank you so much for that sharing. I mean, I also have to apologize. There are many of the questions that remains unanswered, that we're really running out of time, which just demonstrate that this issue is very close to many people's hearts, and especially the Malay community. And it's very encouraging to see the numbers actually dropping over the years. And it's also a great pleasure to always organize the CLS and having good speakers like Prof himself. It's always that I always come back with the CLS, from the CLS session, learning many things. And especially today, you know, this is a government effort, but it's really, really, really enlightening to hear that actually the community is behind this, and we are all together in trying to tackle this problem. And the CLS, the Cendekiawan series, is a platform where we candidly share community's challenges. We don't try to shy away from it, and we work together to deal with this. So I thank you once again, Prof, for this session. A round of applause for Prof. May I now hand over the session to our MC, Farah.
Thank you, Prof. Faishal and Dr. Noor Sharil. Through this afternoon CLS lecture, we have gained valuable insights and knowledge about our community. So before we conclude the event, I invite Dr. Noor Sharil to present a token of appreciation to Associate Professor Muhammad Faishal, our invited speaker for this CLS session.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now let us give us a round of applause to Associate Professor Muhammad Faishal. Thank you once again, Prof. Faishal and Dr. Noor Sharil. Esteemed participants, as with every endeavor comes a conclusion. We have now reached the end of today's CLS session. We sincerely hope that all attendees found the session insightful and beneficial. We kindly request your feedback on today's session by scanning the QR code provided. Your input is highly appreciated and will aid us in further improving our future events. For more engaging events like this, please stay connected with MHF through our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and our official website. Follow us to stay updated with the latest news and upcoming activities from MHF. Once again, I take this opportunity to express my gratitude to all who joined today. Inshallah, we will meet again. On behalf of MHF, I, Farah Alicia, conclude this session with a wish for a good afternoon and a wonderful weekend. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.